India, a rich country full of poor people. Along with the abundance of resources on one hand, India is cursed with abject poverty and unemployment. According to the World Bank estimate, 41.6% of the total Indian population lives below the international poverty line. That, coupled with disease, superstitions and terrorism plaguing its nerves, India has a few important questions to ponder. Where does it all begin? What is it that shapes up a person, his skills, his attitude, his character, integrity? The power to know right from wrong and the courage to follow the right path in spite of all difficulties. What is it that shapes his and therefore the world's future? Well, we would have to look no further than the small building they call the school, the hub for imparting knowledge. The famous author Mark Twain once said, "Every time you stop a school, you will have to build a jail." That brings us to this fundamental thing called education. There is a pressing need to shape the young children to be responsible citizens who would respect and follow the rights and duties that the Constitution guarantees every Indian. And if this were to be done, it would only be possible through education. This is the prime responsibility of every school.
Welcome to the school, Bharat Vidyalaya, which is situated in a village, Shahabad, in the district of Satara in India. The school actual building that you see here was constructed about 4 years ago, but the school was working in small dilapidated room, firstly in the city, then in the farmer's house that we inherited when we bought the piece of land and started construction. The aims and objectives of the school, like any other school, should be to produce citizens of this country who not only remain the citizens of this country but are ready to be the citizens of the world tomorrow. Our Constitution preamble very clearly states what we want is justice, liberty, equality, fraternity for all our citizens. And how do you train or educate the children to become such ideal citizens of the world tomorrow? Here is an experience that you can experience of an experiment that we have been carrying out for the last 5 years. Welcome once again. Please enter the school and see all the theories which are being used in practice. You will enjoy this. Thank you.
Bharat Vidyalaya is one such experimental school trying for the same. A one-of-its-kind school aiming to provide quality education only for the underprivileged. It has 100% of the students falling below the poverty line, having migrated laborers as parents, and coming from families living a hand-to-mouth existence. It has now grown to become a fully functional school, with a new grade being added every year. With knowledge inputs from Ram Mangal, which has been working in the field of education since 1982, and management looked after by Sri Ramakrishna Charities, Bharat Vidyalaya is a joint effort aimed at making a difference through education. It is said, education is not about filling a vase. It is about lighting a fire. Bharat Vidyalaya, with its constructive approach to education, tries to do just the same.
In Bharat Vidyalaya, we have different approach towards education. We have here brain compatible education. It means that we consider that brain is basically an organ for learning, and child has natural instinct of learning. There are some basic presumptions behind that. Number one, that a child learns by herself. Number two, child is self-motivated. And number three, child can learn best when experiences are provided to her. In Bharat Vidyalaya, we provide them varied types of experiences which are suited to the brain development of a child.
Indeed, the students seem busy exploring the educational aids. Each child makes its own choice of what it wants to play with. But surely, there could be a few things that nobody wants to play with. How would a child learn in this case?
In education, what is important? It is not that we want child to learn. Most important is what child wants to learn. And child can make choices. Only thing is that we should provide child the required freedom and pace for exercising its own will, its own desire, its own choices. In Bharat Vidyalaya, we provide them lot of choices and also allow them to move freely anywhere, picking up a particular activity. In education, freedom can't go with a strict discipline. Children can exercise the choices only when they are in a relaxed position. So it is a kind of alertness which we can describe as relaxed alertness.
This freedom seems to reflect in the form of happiness. The students seem eager to learn and bubbling with enthusiasm. Perhaps it's this happiness that attracts them to their class, where they willingly rush back as the school bell rings.
You cannot expect any child to learn under any kind of stress or mental depression. Any tension creates a downshifting in the brain. It means the blood circulation falls down from the upper neocortex to the emotional brain, and children become more and more stressful. And that is why we see that children are not punished here. Corporal punishment is totally out of picture. Not only that, you won't find scolding by the teacher in a very loud voice also. When such kind of fear or any kind of examination tensions are removed, children have natural environment of learning. And that is exactly what we do here. We take care that children are happy, tensionless, not emotional, emotionally stable, and this kind of educational situation is really a specialty over here.
The different slides and swings seem to be a part of the same attempt. You can also spot a trampoline kept just near the preschool class. The children just love to jump on it.
It has been done actually for two reasons. It is not just for recreation. It has a scientific reason behind it. Actually, you will find the age up to 8 is really a fast developing age of a child. Child's not only physical development takes place, but also child's brain development takes place at a very fast rate in this. And that is why in education we should take care that this kind of physical development and brain development should be considered. We have taken care that child is allowed to have physical movement as much as possible while learning. For example, you must have observed that we don't have benches in our classroom, simply because benches are hurdles in their free movement. You will see in Bharat Vidyalaya that after every 2 periods or say every 2 lessons, we have a small break of 15 minutes. And children are supposed to come out of class, move around the place, go to the ground, play whatever they like. This is meant for heavy physical movement on their part. Such kind of physical movement allows a very fine networking at the brain level. In addition to that, every day the last 2 periods are meant for games.
The absence of benches provides the children ample opportunity to interact and communicate with each other. They can sit in any formation that they want. You can see them working individually or in groups of 3 or 4, or sometimes the entire class together.
This is not mere physical arrangement of how the children are sitting. It is these are different methods of learning. These may be individual when the child is sitting alone, or in a group of 2 or 3. It is more of a collaborative type of learning, and also cooperative when bigger groups are at work. In this, the main benefit is that the children are learning by doing with each other, communicating with each other. They are discussing points and they are analyzing the points and coming to some sort of conclusion. A lot of peer group learning is happening here without anybody bossing actually. The children learn from each other. So what happens is they overcome all the individual difficulties that they have or individual problems they have.
Talking about limitations, surely each child cannot be the same.